You see a live button go on? There it goes. We're live now. You know what? This is the start of a really great conversation. But here's the truth. Nobody gets in here without listening to the music. See you in a minute. Good morning. Welcome. You're on the Success Secrets for Business, Family, and Life channel. I'm Vicki Helm. This is the Coffee Break Show, and it's brought to you by Metadime Digital Network. And today we are going to have a rocking, fun conversation. Today we have Lori Lynn with us, and she is going to rock your world. Now, when we start this conversation, I want you to ask yourself one question. Have you ever been happily unemployable? Like you just can't work for anyone. And if you do, they're like, you're out. Well, today we're going to talk about how to become happily unemployable with Lori Lynn, who is an expert at business development and all kinds of things unemployable. Welcome to the Coffee Break Show. I'm so glad you're here with us today.
Woo, Vicki, I'm so happy to be here. I love your energy.
Thank you. You guys, before we start, I really want to take a moment and just tell you about Lori Lynn for a minute. Now, I want to let you know that Lori is friends with Martin Wales. So right away, that tells you she has a good sense of humor. So, but, you know, she had this cushy suburban lifestyle, stay-at-home mom gig. And then suddenly, that all came to a halt. Like everything changed. And I don't want to give the story away. I want to let her tell you. But she found herself struggling to pay the bills. She was a single mom. And she had 3 kids, so that's a lot of mouths to feed. I see you coming on. Put your name down below and join us in the conversation. Say hello. And her friends told her she needed to get another job. And she thought, you know what? I'm going to start a business instead. So she started from zero. And in 12 months, she had a 6-figure business. And she helps other women in this kind of predicament, other people, I should say, not just women, be this kind of person who can learn how to go from zero to hero in 12 months. She's also the host of the Rise and Climb podcast, where she interviews entrepreneurs and authors about what it looks like to take the road less traveled, which means being entrepreneurial. And her heart is to help entrepreneurs who feel like outcasts. If you feel like an outcast, this is the show for you today. And if you want to be a good entrepreneur, that's it. She is also a full-time book editor, a part-time actress, and an all-time single mom. Just the best. Welcome to the show. She's got a new book coming out. We're going to talk about it right then. I love it. It's Unemployable. Now, the subtitle really got me. I was like, Confessions of a Serial Killer's Kid with Timothy R. Johnson is the co-author. Welcome to the show. That's a little bit about that. Now, I just want everybody's popping on. Wow, you guys, nice to see everyone. Whoa, okay, just a second, guys. All right, I just want to hi, Lori Lynn. That's great. Thank you. Hi, so excited. Lori, I would like you to meet Lori. This is my friend Lori in real life, Lori. Good morning and happy Wednesday, and a great name, Lori Lynn. And by the way, the topic is very relevant to you, Lori. And so I just want to say welcome to that. This is an amazing concept. I'm looking forward to it. Good morning. Oh my gosh, you guys are up early. You're up in Fiji. Welcome to the show. Larissa, welcome. Australia, welcome. Good morning. I hope you guys have a cup of coffee with you as we get started. Now, listen, I want to pull everything out of her. So I've been talking a lot, and I want her to tell her story so you guys can see what happened. Welcome to the show, and just tell us how this all started.
Well, if we go way back, I have loved reading and writing since I was itty bitty. And I would say that the editorial, gene is already in there. So when we moved as a family from New Jersey to Kentucky, I had a pen pal, and I would edit her letters to me and then send them back to her. And no one told me this was a bad idea. No one said, like, you might lose a friend if you keep doing that, but you might have a great career as an editor. So started young. And then over the years, just as a work from home, homeschool mom, I ended up having 3 kids. They are all actors. They've been in things you've probably seen. I just would occasionally edit books for friends, as they wrote books and they were looking for someone, to help edit them. I would just do them here and there. And so when I found myself in the midst of a divorce and realizing like I can't be the full-time, stay-at-home mom anymore. I've actually got to generate some sustainable income here. The thing that I ended up doing at the beginning of, end of 2019, beginning of 2020, is editing a book for an influencer who put me in front of his audience, and my career took off. So in 2020, I managed to not only build a six-figure business and clear over half of that, but I was also able to employ several other people. So as independent contractors. So I have one person who proofreads for me. She is on the autism spectrum. So working in a traditional, environment with lots of other people was really stressful for her, but she can proofread like nobody's business, and she can do it on her own terms. And then I have another single mom that works with me. She has 5 kids, and she was looking for ways to generate income. So she does a lot of editing and proofreading. And then I have another friend who started doing she's now one of my senior editors, and she's in this season of life where she's like, all right, my kids are starting to not need me anymore. I'm trying to reinvent myself. I don't know what I'm doing. So she came alongside me and was like, well, what are you doing? So well, you share the load and let's see what happens. And all of a sudden I have this dream team of people who are kind of unconventional, consider themselves unemployable, kind of outside the box. And we're all happy,
Way to work. I got to tell you something. If you have never written a book, and I have about 30 under my belt now, if you've never written a book, you have no idea how important your editors are. Now, I want to tell you, I do something called throwing up on paper. I just throw up the book on paper. But my editors keep me sounding smart and intelligent, and such a great business model to be able to move about. Interestingly enough, the correcting of the letters and sending it back to your friend, or, maybe you'd want to say it like this, all those things. So cool how you have maneuvered from editing to creating a business that helps people who are employable in such a niche where you have to have awareness and precision. That awareness and precision. And I loved how you were like, well, she has autism, but she can really edit, and she's a great proofreader. Fantastic. I want to ask you, how did you kind of stumble on this business? How did you start this process? Like right now, if there's single moms out there saying, okay, I'd like to have a 6-figure business, how do I start this?
Well, it was kind of a windy path. So if you look at the, like the yellow brick road, where we are now versus where we were in Kansas, Kansas looked like trying my hand at some network marketing, MLM type stuff. And what I realized is I'm really good at buying the product, not so great at building a team. So one of the people that I got introduced to in one of my network marketing businesses that I tried pointed me to Bob Proctor. And Bob Proctor wrote a book called It's Not About the Money. And I got that on audio, and I listened to it again and again and again and again and again. And I love that man and his voice and his Canadian accent. I'm like, I could listen to Bob Proctor all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get it. He is definitely one of my favorite mentors. And what's great about mentors right now is people think that you can't have a mentor unless you buy them. They're everywhere. You can do exactly what she did. Yep. And Bob Proctor, excellent. One of probably in the top 2 of my mentors. Really, really outstanding. So once you did that, there's something in you that switched or changed. Tell us about the switch or the change.
Well, Bob Proctor, he pointed me to a group called OMG, and it was basically one-man gang. It was a group that taught how to do SEO. So what is it? Optimization. I can't even think of the acronym.
Yeah, the S. It's something optimization. Yeah. Boy, it's been a long time since we know what SEO is. We just don't know what it stands for. Right. Somebody put it in there. I know that Robert or somebody out there put in there. Search engine optimization. Yes.
So I get in there and I start learning, and I'm like, you guys, you're like speaking Russian, and I don't speak Russian, and I'm not about to learn it. So I kept continuing to go into these groups because the guys were so smart. The men and women in these groups were so smart. And I loved their energy, but I didn't really get like what they were trying to teach me. I kept working so hard, and it's like it just fell out of my brain, you know? So they did this live event in Nashville and invited a handful of speakers. Well, I really resonated with one of the speakers. And then I followed him to the next event. And then before you know it, I'm among all of these people who they're movers and shakers, right? They're like these world changing, entrepreneurs who are just my people. Like I found my people. And then one of them was teaching how to set up and monetize a podcast. So I just had that burning desire of like, all right, podcasts are what helped me to keep my head above water when I was going through the divorce. So a great way to give back is to just start my own podcast and interview people like Martin Wales. That's how we got to know each other. I interviewed him on my podcast. And then my podcast coach said, hey guys, Dan Henry just wrote his first book. He doesn't normally do podcast interviews, but he's willing to do them for his book tour. Reach out to him and see if you can get him on your show. So I reached out to him and said, hey, congratulations on writing your first book. As a book editor, I know what a grueling process it can be. Hats off to you. And he was like, oh, you're a book editor? I should hire you. And I'm like, yes, you should.
And you know what's so funny about that is it's true. You get to the point where you're like, yes, you should. I don't care if you're an internet marketer, you may be able to do genius stuff, but if you want a good book, you need an editor. Full stop. Don't think, oh, this is so great. I'm so great. This is great. No. Yes, you should. Way to go.
So I told him I have this reputation among the readers in the UK because I have an author who's a Jane Austen fan fiction novelist, and they are brutal. Like they will rip you apart. If you're an American author writing, British fan fiction, like you better just, put your seatbelt on and your bulletproof vest on and just hope and pray that, they don't rip you a new one. And she has fabulous reviews. They're like, they can't find anything wrong with me. And she's like, I have a great editor. And I'm like, that would be me. So yeah, I told Dan, like, if you want your book to be really good, if you want to look as smart on the page as you sound from the stage, you need to hire a good editor, and I'm your girl. And he's
That's
like, well,
a great hook.
Right?
That's a great hook. The one you just said. If you want to look as smart on the stage as you do in this page, you got to get that editor in there. That's a great hook.
Yeah.
And to me, it's definitely sold it. I think that moving forward, people may not find a niche. Like, there's editing is a super skill. It's a really super skill. And because editing can go with anything. It's not just books. We have editors edit our websites, edit our copy, edit our, there's a vast amount of array of things that you can do. So what happened after you got to the point where you were obviously editing Dan Henry's book?
Right. So he asked me what I charge, and I gave him a number, and he goes, you know what? I don't really care what you charge. I just need this done fast. And that was my first clue. Entrepreneurs move fast. Yep. People who have more money than time are willing to spend money on things that they don't have the time to do. So that's a huge tip for anybody out there who's looking to start a business. Find the things that busy people don't want to do, that they want to outsource, and be the person they outsource to and knock it out of the park. Like deliver like on steroids. You know what I mean? Really,
that is the number one thing. I think you said two really important things that I want to go over. One is entrepreneurs do move fast.
Yeah.
We do. Slow is not off there. If you're slow, we'll work with you once to get the contract done and it's over. The second thing is, and thank you for putting this up, Robin. If you want to look as smart on the page as you do on stage, you need a professional editor, full stop. That hook line should just be, that's it right there. A lot of people give their friend the book and say, would you edit this for me? You've got to stop that. If you're really investing in something that is your business, your book is your business. So in that book is your business. There isn't a single book that doesn't run by editors with me. I have an egolessness about them working my word to making it really good. So the second thing I want to mention that she talked about, the first thing, finding that niche, finding where you're there. You've had a lot of good fortune because you've had a lot of good work. Entrepreneurs work fast and they have a deadline that they have to keep things in order. You can't just take your time for that, especially books, because whether you're publishing or self-publishing, the way that you have to start your book launch, the way that you have to start that is time consuming and needs to have some deadlines and dead dates that are there. Hey, Lori, when is your book coming out and can we pre-order? Ooh, good question. Let's talk about your new book because it's coming out and I really like it.
Well, I just finished a 2-day writers mastermind retreat with the Jack Canfield, co-creator of Chicken Soup for the Soul. The man has sold more nonfiction books than any other human in the history of books. Like, the man is a legend. And I have to say, he loves my chapter titles and he loves the concept. And he's like, Lori, you're sitting on a national bestseller, an international bestseller.
Get going.
I know. So he's like, so when are you going to put the meat on these bones and flesh it out and really, like make it to where people can order it? So right now we're working on all of the infrastructure, the landing page and the book funnel and all of that. So right now I have just a small Facebook group of people, like you drop your email address in, we'll let you know when it's coming out, when, you can pre-order. Smart. But hopefully by May, we will have, the book ready to be formatted and we'll have the cover designed and we'll be on our way to, that launch to bestseller. But yeah, we're still like in the infancy of it. It's all ideas. And I've got a Trello board full of information, but I've got to just take it chapter by chapter.
Compiling it right now and you can be put on the waiting list. Thank you, Few. Lori's energy is infectious. And you can imagine that just because Martin and her are friends, you and Vicky Rock. Thank you. This is Money, Love, Speed. This is what I always tell my team. Like when the idea comes from start to finish, Money, Love, Speed, they're teasing me. Remember, entrepreneurs move fast. That's really true. So when you're looking at a business and you're starting this business and you're actually getting to the point where you have clients and leads, how do you develop that from 0 to hero in 12 months?
You try really hard not to let people fall through the cracks, man. When you're juggling 3 kids and all the laundry and all the meals and all the, the guy that comes through and takes down your mailbox and, like you're responsible for all of it. So as you're just trying to keep it all together, have some sort of system that you don't dread going to. Like for me, when I discovered Trello boards, it changed my life. Yeah. Because a Trello board is a lot more creative than just a standard calendar. Some people love a good Excel spreadsheet. I love a good Trello board. And so find a way to keep up with all of your people. So each of my boards has a book or a lead or something that I'm working on. And every day I see them all. I just move the ones to the front that need my attention that day. But man, they say the fortune's in the follow-up, and it is. It really is. You've got to follow up with your people and stay on task. Like focus, I think, is the biggest superpower that you can harness. So if you can not let things fall through the cracks and you can force yourself to focus and just not get distracted, by like Facebook and Netflix and all the things that are vying for your attention, you get so much done.
This is so interesting what you're saying, because as a single mom with 3 kids, that can pull your focus everywhere. How do you create productivity time? And I want to pop this up here because this woman here is a brilliant single mom. Oh my God, I totally get that. I become the queen of juggling 1,000 things at once, not always completely successfully, but enough, laugh out loud. So how is it? Because I can't even imagine trying to figure out your work hours, like mommy's not available right now. How do you do that? How do you create productivity? I know you have a Trello board, which keeps you on task, following up, and creative. And when you get to the point where you're your own personal productivity, how do you manage that?
It was really a struggle at first. So my kids had basically been trained that I was available all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
now all of a sudden I'm not, now I've got to have that time where I'm like, I'm on the phone with an author, or I'm doing a coaching call, or, I've got something else where they can't interrupt me as we speak right now. I've got kids in other rooms who are, like one of them's getting his hair cut and the other one's probably writing a song, and, like they're all doing stuff. So they've had to learn that I'm not always the default, they've got to
Mm-hmm.
default to something else sometimes.
Interesting.
And the other thing is I hit the divorce lottery. my, my kid's dad has them every Thursday night at 8 p.m. until Monday morning at 7 a.m. And
Brilliant.
that's when I turn into a machine. Like I'm still available to them, if they need anything from me. But for the most part, my authors know I don't work regular hours. I'm not an 8 to 5. I've never been an 8 to 5. I have always been like, I like the nighttime hours. I love what I do. So I do it naturally. I do it on the weekends. So from Thursday night until early Monday morning, I'm rocking it out as fast as I can. And I'm, and I do take time for myself to do fun things, but they're just, maybe a Friday night dinner with a friend, or a karaoke night and being silly and fun and dancing, or going roller skating with the kids on a Thursday night late or something like that. But my actual work hours where I focus in on those books and I give them my undivided attention, that happens on the weekends. So I can give my undivided attention to my kids when I have them during the week. And then occasionally I'll have to put the books on hold for the kids. And occasionally I'll put the kids on hold for the books and the authors. But for the most part, Monday through Thursday is kids and Friday through Sunday is books.
Wow, that is so interesting how it's like there's a setup for your life. And I think, for a lot of women, hopefully they won the divorce lottery if, their dad is there. That's a big thing. Because right now, what I want to say is, let's say you wanted to start a business from home. Let's say you were one of the people that got laid off from this quarantine, and because people are just laid off, the businesses are closed, they don't know what to do, they're sitting at home. Can you talk to that woman who's in that spot right now and maybe give her 3 tips as to how she could start, what she could do? I mean, maybe she's not an editor. How could she start to build that zero to hero business in 12 months?
YouTube is your friend, man. YouTube and podcasts, just type in best businesses for 2021, best work from home businesses, best way to make money from home. There's a little rock star that I follow. He's like, I don't know, maybe 30. His name's Kevin David. And I met him at that initial OMG live event where I learned about one of my other mentors, who's Myron Golden. So
yeah, I love Myron. I love him.
Man. Myron and Bob.
One of my favorite people. He's cool.
So I'm actually working on Myron's book. I'm Myron Golden's next book editor. So after I read his first one, which by the way, if you are looking at, okay, how do I go from zero to hero? Read From the Trash Man to the Cash Man. That ingrained in me this idea of, okay, I can start from ground level 0 and I can build my way up. I listened to his Bible Success Secrets podcast. I read books about like money mindset, because the thing is, if you're not where you want to be in terms of your finances, something's going on in your mindset, in the way that you think, that's preventing you from having what you want. So for example, I'm maybe driving a car that I feel comfortable in. I'm wearing clothes I feel comfortable in. I'm living in a house I feel comfortable in, but I'm not comfortable when I look at my bank account. So I need to look at people who are comfortable when they look at their bank account and go, okay, how do you think? What do you do? What are the steps that you took to get there? And then I just follow those people. And I learned more about how to think about money in the last 2 years than probably my entire life. So I think that's step one is, start looking like Bob Proctor. There's a million ways to make $1 million. It's not about the money. Follow Myron Golden, listen to his podcast, follow Kevin David. He's got I don't know, at least a dozen YouTube videos about these are jobs that you can do that you don't need, a degree or 17 years of experience or a resume even. These are little startup things that you can do to just start getting some cash flow, so you're not just feeling like I can't breathe. You've got to be able to breathe. So in the early days, I did stuff like there was a company that needed someone to just comb through social posts and make sure that they made sense. So they would hire out to, let's say, someone in the Philippines, do the research, pull it all together, and then they would hire me to comb through it and make sure it makes sense. I didn't make that much money doing that, but it was enough to buy groceries. And so you just do what you can with what you have, where you are, and you just keep doing it and keep making those connections until finally you're like on Vicky Helm's show and talking about how to build a 6-figure business working from home during a global pandemic with 3 kids.
That's the point right there. I want to talk about that. A lot about winning is being consistent in your efforts. Even if you get that idea, most people feel like they want a running start and they want fast overnight success. Overnight success is planned and it's worked. It's work and work and work and work and work and work and work until it happens for you. And to me, one of the things that I really love about Lori is that when she's talking, she's expressing joy. It's actually enriching, very enriching to be having this conversation with you, because you can obviously see it's not just about making 100,000 or more a year. It's about having a life that you love. And when you have a career or life that you love, I mean, to me, editing is like accounting. It's just not me, but she is doing the thing that she's great at, that she loves, that it makes her happy. And like this, yes, happily, psychologically unemployable. Yes. Hey, Janine, nice to see you, my friend, all the way from the UK. Everybody around the world is on as well. One of the things we've been talking about is how to create that kind of joy in your work as well as success in your work. It's all about the joy. It's not just about money. And I got to tell you something. I have done that. Well, I've already built 12 businesses, wrote a bunch of books, etc. I can tell you that making money, the first time you hit it, you're kind of excited. But after a while, that's not what excites you. What excites you is what and how you serve the public. And for everyone doing a job right now, that consistency when you start up. I love what you said, Lori. YouTube is your best friend. There's so much help out there that is for free. There are mentors out there that are on YouTube telling you how to do it, when to do it, what to do it, from step by step by step by step. And so the key hook for Lori, I think, was that she just started. And tell us about OMG. Tell us about where you got your best education from as far as business startup and things like that. Where did you go, man, I like this? I know Bob Proctor was one of them, and he was kind of your mindset mentor. Yes.
Yeah. He was huge with mindset.
Who's your business mentor?
Probably Myron Golden. And then Myron Golden said that his mentor was Russell Brunson. So I'm like, well, I just I've got to keep following the trail, right?
Yep.
People success leaves tracks, success leaves clues. So you follow the tracks. So Bob Proctor said, hey, these guys are really rocking it out. Well, they're part of the ClickFunnels family.
Yep. It's just what Sean said earlier. Sean popped up, and I'm going to just wait here for you. This is a ClickFunnels crew. There we go. That's what you said. This is a ClickFunnels crew. It's like there's so much out there. And I want to let you know that I think Myron and Russell provide the most value at how to grow a business really quickly and online, and how you want to do it so that it's foundational and stable. So I'm popping up here. There's a lot of conversation going on, you guys, and I'm just going to pop and just a couple of these with her. So she, let's see, Robin Helm, exactly. Live the life you desire. Happiness is longevity. Yes, it is. Thank you. Amazing creator, Lori. Yes, she is. I mean, this is, and she's got great stuff coming on. Lori says, yes, that's so true. Genuinely serving others is always the most exciting part of doing the thing I do as well. Yes, it's really about serving. And when you start serving, you'll see that things and opportunities will open up. Ross, you are a brave man. Trello hasn't been my friend. Ross, I'm not sure you're there. I didn't even see you, bro. Thank you for being here today. Let's see. Yes, success leaves clues. Yes, it does. But here's the thing. I think the difference is how much action do you take on always be in service? This is probably Ross here. Always be in service. Yes, always be in service. So for the moms that are struggling right now, 3 pieces of advice to them. The single moms who are there, what's your 3 pieces of advice for them if they're starting out on their venture? Wait a minute. I'm so sorry. Somebody loves you.
I love you too, Martin.
So do I. See? So 3 pieces of advice. I don't care if you're a woman or a man. You're just struggling right now and you don't want to, or maybe you're sitting at that 9 to 5 desk and you're struggling because you hate what you're doing. You don't want to do this anymore and you're afraid to take the leap into this entrepreneurial world. If you're afraid of that, what advice can you give people?
So the first thing is super simple, but I'm telling you, it's revolutionary. It's the easiest thing that you can do to get the most impact in the way that you feel. But I bet you anything, you'll forget to do it. And that is, before you ever get out of bed, before your feet hit the floor, smile and find something that you're grateful for.
Amen.
I'm not kidding. It is so powerful. It will rewire your brain and you will kickstart. I actually have chills right now. You will kickstart the day with positivity and you will be looking for opportunity. You'll be looking for the ways to feel grateful. Okay, so I follow, lots of scripture. And one of the things that I remember all the time is like, seek first the kingdom of God, and then everything else will be added to you. Well, seek in that instance means praise. So if I wake up with praise on my lips, I wake up with like, thank you that I woke up today. Thank you that I have this warm, cozy bed that I woke up in. I look up and I see a painting on my wall that my grandma did. I'm like, oh, thank you for my sweet little grandma. This beautiful art that she created. I have peacock feathers in my room. Reminds me of my other grandma. I'm like, thank you for the gift that they've been to me. And I wake up full of gratitude. And I'm not kidding. I do not let my feet touch the floor without smiling. I smile first and then find a place of gratitude. And that opens up the door for finding possibility. So you just have to be curious. So that's number 2, like be grateful first thing in the morning. Number 2 is foster that sense of curiosity. So I am always like, what's the next book? What's the next podcast? What's the next group? Like all the different things that I can learn. And I'm like a sponge. And anything that takes my energy, and this is probably number 3, but anything that takes my energy down, I move away from it. Somebody like reaches out to me on Facebook and I have a weird vibe. I am so fast to block people. You wouldn't believe, like my friends list and my block list are probably close.
About the same. Me too.
So protect your energy. You've got to protect your mind. You've got to protect the messages that come in. So shut out the stuff that drags down your energy, and anything that like boosts your energy, that you feel creative and you feel productive and it's fun. Do more of that. Spend more time with those people and then let them know. Like, don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm looking for opportunities to make money. I'm looking for ways to generate multiple streams of income. I'm looking for ways to expand my referral partners. I'm looking for ways to do things differently. I'm not satisfied with the way things are right now, and I need help. people want to help other people. Like, you got to ask
Say
for
that
help.
again. Say that again loud. People do want to help other people. We get so cynical. Nobody wants to help me. Not true.
No, especially when you're relentlessly helpful. Like, you come
Yeah.
in and you serve. Holy smokes. Like, I served Dan Henry, well, like, with every ounce of my being. I gave everything I had to that book. I cared more about that book than he cared about that book. And he was like, Lori, really? Like, you're so meticulous. We got to let it go. And I'm like, the books live forever. It's not like web copy that Martin's like so scared of being blocked by Lori. I think 3 times before messaging her. You're safe, Martin. You're safe. But like, when I served him, like, with everything that I had, and he saw that that's how I am, he was quick to put me in front of his high level mastermind group. And this is what happened. Vicki, I'm not kidding. He put me in front of people who had spent $30,000 to spend the next year with him, and said, look, every single one of you needs to write a book. And if you want it to be as good as mine, you need to hire Lori, and you need to give her a $1,000 deposit right now. $15 went into my bank account, like, in 15 minutes. That's never happened to me in my life, ever. And all of a sudden, I have, for next year, another 6 figures, because we've got all of these new leads done. And then I serve them, and it just keeps going. It's a ripple effect.
Who serves them? Who serves them? I know from my businesses, the way my business grows is, once people work with me and they're like, oh, you're the real deal, boom, they'll tell everybody, we found the real deal, it's over here, boom. And then it just grows and grows and grows exponentially. Yes, I love the way you think and you're passionate about it, Lori. I do too. Hey, like this. Hey, web copy lives forever in the matrix, but it's not as warm as a book. I want to let you know, Martin has helped me with the copy on some of my sites. He's also the reason my books sound, the title, the subtitle. I'm telling you, I've hired people to just give me the correct subtitle and title of the book. And that's the man who has done that for me as well. Really appreciate that. Larissa says, the joyful, unlimited energy is so uplifting. Thank you, Lori and Vicki. I told you it was going to rock today. You can try, I'm telling you. It's like, this is just the fun of it. No one cuddled up in bed with a web page ever. It's true. They cuddled up in bed with a book. Very good. Here's tip number 3 out of the one that she's given. Tip 3, protect your energy. Spend more time with people that feed your soul and energy. Amen to that. This right here, 15,000 in 15 minutes. I got to tell you something. Back in the day, when live events were there, I've spoken on stages all over the world. But this one day, one of my friends called me and said, wow, one of our, keynote people is gone. Can you fill in? And they were sick or something. And I was like, okay. It was one of my friends. You say yes to an opportunity. You pop down there. You drive however far you have to drive, or fly, or do whatever you have to do to get that opportunity. Got on stage, outsold everyone. Literally sold 100, maybe 200 books in 30 minutes. Just boom. That was this. Boom. And like, the opportunities that are there. This 15,000 in 15 minutes, this happens all the time when you jump on there. Dr. Joe Vitale always has this great sign. He says, expect miracles. Expect miracles. And I like the way you get up in the morning. It's smile before you get out of bed. You probably won't remember to do it. You're going to remember to do it now. You're going to think in the morning, I'm going to have something I look at off the wall that makes me smile before I get out of bed. Gratitude when your feet hit the floor. And you get to the point where you start living and looking and seeing and perceiving opportunities. Guess what shows up? Opportunities. So then you start saying yes to these opportunities. And the third thing you got to do, this is so important. This was hard for me. And I want to talk about this, because her third tip was, you got to protect your energy. Spend more time with the people that feed your soul and your energy. Now, I had to really come to grips in terms with this. Are you a friend because you are a friend, or because you need a friend? Now, listen to that, because people befriend you for that same reason, right? Are you a friend, or do they need a friend? Are they your friend, or they need a friend? So one day I remember putting the list of all my friends down on the pages, all my friends, everyone I called a friend, and literally said, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It's so important, this one single step that she said. It's so important to smile in the morning. It's so important to spend your energy like this. You want this. If you want this, you have to become this. And the three things she just gave you is how you become this. You become that nature. And so, look at this. People are too scared to ask for help. Could you say a little bit about this? How do you get over this? People are too scared to ask for help. It's true. And other people want to help you. What do you say to those people who are too scared to ask for help?
You got to kill your ego. I mean, you just bench your ego.
Bench your ego. I love that. Bench your ego, humble yourself, ask for help. It was frustrating. It was a frustrating learning curve. Yes. Thanks, Vicki. No, thank you, by the way. I got to tell you, you've done a lot for my business. Okay. So, but 15,000 in 15 minutes, that took a year to set up. Yes, it did. But it does happen. See, because the transformation piece is what took a year. It's like, okay, here's the setup, but your mindset, once it flips into that, once you flip the script and you become this, that's it. You only have to learn it once. She's not going to go back to who she was. She is this now. Yeah. So once you have that in your place and you're like, okay, here's what I can do. I'm going to do this. It's going to bounce up. It's just like cooking. You learn it once. You guys are talking so fast. Great show, Lori, but you need to come out of the shell and get get some energy and passion. I love that. Lori's passion and smile is contagious. That's really true. I have that t-shirt, Expect Miracles, seems to puzzle the sad people. Yes, it does. Let's see. Yes, I was feeling great today. Now I feel even better. Thank you. That is so great. Let's see. Yes, thank you for the devil in the details. She works hard for the year, and prior to that, 15 minutes of luck, right place, right time, no working hard, focusing on what she wanted, creating your luck. That, I mean, is opportunity. I like that word better. Creating your opportunity. It's so beautiful. Just join the show. Just love the happy and energetic vibe. Thank you. Nice to see you, MJ. So glad you're with us. Let's see. So true. Surround yourself with who feeds your soul with positivity. You guys, I get that you're listening to the show really big time. I'm here to stay on the friends list. And because of the energy you dish out daily in these shows, boom. Thank you, man. I really enjoy having you, Sean. You are definitely in my friend circle, and you are definitely in that ClickFunnels circle. If you're too scared to ask for help, it's because you think you're smart enough, yet have the problem anyway. And I want to talk about crushing your ego a bit. What ways do you deal with your ego when it roars its ugly head and you're like, here you are again, it's time to shut up? What do you do to catch that, watch that?
It's funny. I actually thought of that today. I was on the road going to pick up my friend who's cutting my kid's hair. And I thought, so many of these people have their own niche, right? Everybody has their own specialty. So she went to get her car worked on. So I'm picking her up at her mechanic. I don't know anything about fixing cars. Like, that's not my jam. You know what I mean? I'm paying somebody to do that. And then she's cutting my kid's hair. Like, I've tried cutting my kid's hair. I will never do it again. It's not pretty. So I hire an expert. And then I just remind myself, like, there's so many ways that other people have a specific area of expertise, like pay them for their zone of genius and then use your zone of genius to help them where they need help. Like, Vicki, you were talking about the title of your book and the subtitle, like you need something juicy, right? You need a good hook. So my friend and business partner, Timothy R. Johnson, who is a serial killer's kid, he spent his entire life looking for somebody to write his book. And then we met and he's like, he calls me the seducer. He's like, you write stuff. And like, people are like, ooh, what's that? And then you read a little more, like, ooh, what's that? So I said, let's call it Unemployable: Confessions of a Serial Killer's Kid. Now he didn't come up with that title, and for his whole entire life, he's been waiting for
Yep.
somebody to come along who does to tell his story in a way that he can't tell it. And he is the king of I show up not knowing anything, because when I surround myself with other people and their genius, he's like, I don't like to work that hard. So I only do 10% of the work, and then I pay for 90% of the rest of it to be done for me. So he has this referral system that's like you wouldn't believe. So if you go into situations just assuming that you know nothing, just kind of blank slate, and then see what comes to the table, and then when you see someone in their zone of genius, like just be an open or an open vessel, and let that kind of flow through you. And if you catch some of that and you want to run with it, great. But if you see an opportunity to either employ them or refer them and get a little commission check, I mean, that's not a bad idea. You know what I'm saying?
I want to say this is very true. I had a 4-book deal with a publisher come up, and this is way back, maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, maybe, Martin. And I had to come up with titles for them, with subtitles for 4 different books. And I'm really great at throwing up on paper and writing down the bones. Okay, so I called Martin in a panic, and I was like, Martin, I need this done, and I need it now. And I got the friends and family discount because we're friends, but I still paid him because he's worth his money, just like every other professional is worth their money. And he, CYA, he covered my butt, and he did it very fast in 24 hours or so. He's like, here's this. And one of them, I was like, yeah, not this one. This doesn't. And he's like, okay, I'll do it again. Boom. That's the expertise you're paying for. A lot of people don't understand that creativity is an expertise. And while we're looking at editors, and we're saying that editors are super creative. I don't know if you guys write a book. There's a difference. There's tech editing and hardline editing. And hardline editing is when they look at your ugly sentence that you wrote, tried to figure out what you actually were trying to say, then resculpt the sentence in a way that actually has your message in a better sculpted sentence. I call it sculpting, actually, when they get it, and I give it to my editors. I'm like, sculpt it the way it needs to be. That moment where you're sculpting that piece of work, it's creativity. So somewhere inside you is your business, and there's a part of you that is your creativity is why you get paid, not the skill set. It's the why you get paid. The one thing that I really like that you said, Lori, was about Dan Henry's book. You poured yourself into that book. You poured yourself and gave it your all. And then that creativity, that is what got you there, even to the point where he's like, come on, really? But you know what? When the book goes out to market, Dan Henry looks like the man, because the sculpted word in his book, that's with him forever. So, I want to say, there's so many people talking still. Yes, this is a good one. Nobody is stealing that brand. A serial killer's kid. My dad was just an eyebrow doctor. How underwhelming. Turn your ashes into gold. But this is the point. Her creativity is why she is there. And I want to tell you something. I know a lot of you out there are not feeling as though you're very creative, or you're feeling overly creative and you don't know what to pick. Like, I can do this and this and this and this. I'm uber jealous of those people. But for those people who are multi-talented, just pick one. Just start with one. Start with the one you love. Get online, learn it, put it up. And there are so many tools online. You can pay for them or get them for free. I would start bootstrapping, getting them for free, putting them up there. This right here, Chaneem, Martin Wales Indeed. Chaneem spent years to become an overnight sensation, and so will you. So do you. And so the thing I like about Lori's journey is because she simply knew what was her creativity. She simply knew, I'm a really good editor, and I'm so good at editing. My poor friends get their stuff back from talking to me with red marks on it, and it's got to be endearing at that point. But she knew where her creativity was. So write down what your creativity, and use the 3 pieces of advice that she gave you earlier that is in this. Also, I want to say, tell us about your podcast.
It's interesting. I couldn't see the forest for the trees at first, and I didn't go straight to editing. Remember, I went to the SEO stuff. I went network marketing, and then SEO, and then like funnel building, and then copywriting, and then it circled back around to, oh yeah, I am a book editor, and now I'm a full-time book editor. And it was the podcast that actually kickstarted me into the thing that I was good at all along, but I couldn't see it. It was right in front of me, but I couldn't see it. I was searching all over for, I should do this, I should do that. I need, a way to make money fast, or a way to make money sustainable, or whatever. And I didn't know that because I had worked with people who didn't have more money than time, they had more time than money. I thought each book was going to, be a few $100s, and I was going to wear myself out trying to do all of this work and deliver when people couldn't pay me for what I was able to deliver. And then I meet someone because of my podcast who has more money than time and is willing to pay for that expertise. And now I'm in this whole world of people who are like that, these entrepreneurs who want things done well, but they want them done fast. And, the podcast catapulted me into this world. And it's called Rise and Climb. And I started it for people like myself who didn't know, where to go, where to turn, who wanted to take the road less traveled, who wanted to know, how do I start a business from scratch? There's no track for that. There's no, okay, I want to be a doctor. There's medical school. I want to be a lawyer. There's law school. There's no track for starting a business. You could argue, that it's the MBA, but I didn't have time for an MBA. I got 3 kids to track. I need money now. I need money yesterday. So the what I do on my podcast is I interview successful entrepreneurs about their journey, and I find out what did it take for you? What is the path that you took? And my hope is that, just like Bob Proctor says, there's a million ways to make $1 million, that someone will hear one of those stories and resonate with it, and then that will be the catalyst for finding their own path.
I want to say something about that, because I think it's so important what she just said. There's a million ways to make $1 million, and that's the issue. That's the issue. Most people won't pick their way and just do it. So what I want to say is that is the big time issue. There is no track. There's no, I start here and I end here. That million ways, that's the hardest thing. And once you start your million ways, you will not believe how many times it can pivot because of opportunities along the way. The thing is, it's that constant thing is exactly what you said. So much, so important. Listen, I know the link for the Rise and Climb podcast is in this thread right now. I know I saw Karen put it up. Please put it up again. Please join that. If you're looking and you're saying, I need mentors, I need information, I need a support system. You can have more than one, and I would suggest more than one. And I know I'm a support system, but her support system is equally as good. You can have more than one support system. And I would suggest everybody get on right there. And it's up right there. Here's the address. You'll see the podcasting in the thread, but on StreamYard, there's just the address right here. Apple Podcasts, Rise and Climb. We want you to be able to rise and climb together. Look at this, all bunch of people jumping in right now. There it is. You posted it, Martin. It's there. And there it is. Just one more time, Martin, in case it didn't get there. So now it's in there 3 or 4 times. You can't miss this. Just want you to know. This is, you just don't miss this. This is time number 4. This is the podcast to be on. And I just want to say, it's been a joy talking with you because I know that my entrepreneurial journey and the businesses and things I've built have all been spotted from opportunity. One of the greatest opportunities I've ever had, and I can tell you it's 30 books later, 30. I have 30 up. There's a reason I keep writing books. The reason I keep writing books and I co-write with people just like she did, finding that co-author, it's a great collaboration. The reason I continue to write books is because it works. Books work in order to get you where they are if they're done properly. And a lot of people want a shortcut and go, oh my God, I wrote my book. I wrote my first book. Oh my God, I wrote my first book. You want your book to be a bestseller. You want it to be something you're proud of that you can do for a long time. That takes editors. Editors are a really, really good system. I have 3 or 4 editors that I work with consistently. And if you want to make your dreams happen where you have your business that's fulfilling, you're going to need to go ahead and realize that there's a million ways to make $1 million, that you need a support system, that you need to have things that are going to bring you leads. And Lori has spilled it all out for us today. Do this and this and this and this. But the number one thing Lori does is the thing she's doing just this moment. She's smiling about her life, being grateful for what she has, being spiritually connected, being definitely monetarily connected, and working consistently on her mindset every single morning before her feet hit the floor. You hear all these things. This conversation isn't the first time we've had this. It's the doing of these things. The doing of these things every day. If you had one message you could leave this group of people who are listening to you all over the world, literally all over the world right now, what would you leave them with? This was not, I want to give her a minute to answer that because I don't have questions. I'm just firing them at her. So what would you leave them with?
Well, I've read a lot of books this year, but the most powerful book that I read is a book by Dr. Edith Eva Eger. It's called The Gift.
Oh, I love.
Survivor of Auschwitz, got her master's degree, PhD in her 50s, wrote this book in her 90s. And she says to look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. I will never leave you. I will take care of you. And I want everyone who's listening to do that today. Look at yourself in the mirror and genuinely look yourself in the eyes and say, I love you. I will never leave you. And I will take care of you.
Wow, talk about melting my heart. I'm going to drop that right there. Thank you for joining us today on the Coffee Break Show. It has been humbling, wonderful, and fun. Thank you for being with us. All right. I know you guys are going to be buzzing tomorrow and wanting to talk about what we just talked about because people are feeling you and hearing you. And we'll talk about this tomorrow as well. Peace out. Thank you. But you guys know how it goes here. Absolutely nobody gets out without listening to the music.